We're live, and it's Real Talk on Real Estate. Today, we're going to be talking about when and how to fire contractors. This came as a question from you guys, and wondering, they're like, okay, not only how do I hire them, but when do I know when to fire them, and how to fire them, and how do I pay them, and when should I pay them so I don't get taken advantage of? So we're going to hit on contractors today, and rightfully so. It's a great question. And I want to make sure that you guys understand, okay, like, what is my threshold? Like, where is my draw the line point where I say, you're gone, get the hell out of here, take a hike, and you have them go pound sand. You know, that's my favorite term. Like, you know what, the fuck out of here, go pound sand, right? And that's like, there's like a threshold there. Or when do you just keep them, right? And why? Like, what is the difference between both? And how do you leverage the payment to be able to secure better quality contractors? Okay. Now, when we're going in and we're building a house, it's different, right? So there's like the general contractor, there's your subcontractors. And so when we're going in, we're looking at this from a perspective of multitudes of contractors, right? So I always tell people, look, if you're capable of managing people, don't even hire a contractor, do an owner build, right? Like, because then it just cuts the variables of having to deal with somebody. Now, if you feel like you need the assistance of having a general contractor on there, then great, hire them. We hire general contractors because it gives us leverage and bandwidth. Now that we've grown, and now that I've been in business for so many years, I sit back and say, okay, I don't want to manage the employees anymore. I'm just going to hire professionals, and I'm going to manage a professional. And so I'm just going to hire and manage my own general contractors. So hence, I go in, and in the beginning, I'll be honest, when you interview general contractors, you should be vetting them from the beginning. Now, if you go through our process of 30, which is in another video, I'll recommend it at the tail end of this video, go watch the process of 30. It's how to hire them. Because if you hire them right, then firing them most times than not shouldn't be an issue. Now, I will tell you that a lot of times it's the contrary, where there are some life variables that change the circumstances of your contractor. So before I get into just, hey, let's fire them, let's talk about some of these variables first to better help you understand, like, how do you attack this? Because it's not as cut and dry as like, hey, I'm going to fire somebody and I'm going to get rid of them, right? Like, there's variables and circumstances. And so you just don't go in and say, okay, I'm going to sever my lifeline, because what if you need that drywall contractor to finish, but maybe they're going through some type of life change, right? And this is the way it's been for me. Being in the industry and coming out of the industry for almost 30 years, I've learned a little bit about employees. And I always tell people, all contractors and employees are the exact same person. They're all the exact same person. They just come in different shapes and sizes, meaning that they all act the same. You're dealing with human nature, right? And you're dealing with contracting, and you're dealing with the circumstances of them bidding things right, bidding it incorrectly, running on high emotion, because maybe they're going through a divorce. And what I found with a lot of these contractors, there's very few of them that take the test of time where they're stable over the course of the entire time I've actually been utilizing them. They all go through life variables, whether it's financial issues, maybe they had a shortcoming and they bid a project wrong, or they got ripped off, and maybe their business is compromised because somebody didn't pay them on a big project. That's happened. Some of these guys will just leave to Mexico and they just disappear. And then they'll come back 3 months later, like hopping and skipping, like there's nothing wrong. And I've literally had homes where they've left scaffolding up and just walked off job sites. Hi, baby girl. Good morning. How are you? Where are you going? You going to track? I love you. You have fun. Grab a protein shake. And so they'll end up going through these life variables where, like, maybe they had a financial issue in their life, or they'll go through a divorce. And a lot of times, like, I had this one contractor, his name was Manuel. He did my tile work, and he caught his wife sleeping with somebody else in their home. Obviously, you know, not the right thing, but instead of it being her fault, he just flew off the handle, right? Pulled out guns on people, wrecked his motorcycle, got a DUI, and just became self-destructive. This guy was solid, owned a tile store. This guy had been working with us forever. Was doing multitudes of homes, doing floors for multitudes of years, for over a decade. And then all of a sudden, just fell apart on us. This divorce, like, it demised him. He lost part of his foot, blew part of his foot off with a gun, wrecked his motorcycle, got a DUI, ran his business into the ground financially. Not a bad person, just made bad life choices. And those bad life choices affected my builds, and it affected my ability to, on how I paid him. And so we even went as far as like repossessing his motorcycles, not the one he wrecked, but another one he had. And then these guys will fight with you, right? And so I'll tell you guys that I have story after story after story. And let me explain these, because I'm going to explain to you how I handled this stuff. There was another gentleman that worked for me. His name was Hector. He did my stucco work forever. And this guy worked for me for better part of 15 years. And he would just leave to Mexico for like a month and then just leave my jobs with scaffolding, everything up. And we were just going through a lot of volume, didn't communicate. And I'd have these conversations with him, say, hey, Hector, I love you, bro, but you got to communicate with me. If you're going to go to Mexico, it's not a big deal, but we got to find a solution, because you can't just leave my jobs for a month and leave shit everywhere, right? Got to a point where he did this to me two different times. We did it to me more than 2 times, but these 2 times we left scaffolding up on 2 different projects and then just left to Mexico. And we were just stuck, and the scaffolding was in the way. And so I left messages. And I didn't know he was in Mexico, never communicated with me. So finally I said, if you don't take your stuff down tomorrow, I'll take it down for you. So I went down there and I told my guys, hey, stack the scaffolding. It's a lot of freaking work to take scaffolding down. My guys are sitting back going, they're like, boss, like, shit, man, like they're scaffolding around this whole project. And I said, and I got in the tractor pissed. And I was like, fuck this. I got in the tractor pissed. I got the scaffolding, the Bobcat, and I freaking plowed down all the scaffolding. I had all the scaffolding down in like 2 minutes. Like literally had all the scaffolding down in 2 minutes. It was all bent up, I just mangled it. I didn't care. Fuck, if they don't care about it, I don't care either, right? If I tell you for this many times, I just landed up getting all his scaffolding, piling it in a pile, pushing it off the side of the lot. And I was like, good. When that fucker comes back, he can come pick his shit up. I got shit to do. And so that's the way I handled that situation. I hadn't paid him yet. And so I wasn't going to pay him until shit was done, right? So my whole thing is put yourself in a position where you have leverage, right? So that's an extreme example. Okay, that's just an extreme. Alex laughing at me because he could actually probably picture me doing this, right? And so understand, guys, that when you go in, you hire contractors, hire good people. Now, that was kind of my last straw. We had went through 3 or 4 different rendezvous with Hector where I finally was just like, this is it, man. Like, this is my last straw. But let's go to what led to that, okay? And let's talk about when to fire contractors, because 9 times out of 10, I won't even fire contractors, guys. I keep them because it's like this revolving door. And so what I always tell people, and the reason I tell you stories like about Manuel, I tell you guys stories about like Hector, I tell you guys stories about some of these contractors, is because I've went through this stuff with my electricians, I've done it with my plumbers, I've done it with my own concrete guys, I've done it with so many different people, and here's what lands up happening. Okay, so you got to take things like a grain of salt, and so I just gave you guys the extreme. Okay, now let's backpedal a little bit. Okay, and let's figure out what led to that. Because what I'm telling you to do is not like go out there and just plow down your subcontractor stuff and pile it and get rid of them. Don't do that, right? Like this is an extreme. Like I always tell my wife and I tell people, I go, I don't understand why I have to talk to people 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times and they just don't listen. And then after about the 10th time, when you're like fed up to hear, you're just like, fuck it, I'm done. Like I'm just done. You know, and then when it gets to that, then you take extreme measures, right? Now, don't take my extreme measures. You create your own extreme measures. Jerome's extreme measures probably aren't extreme measures that most of you guys want or need to take. But that's just the way sometimes when I'm just fed up, I'm like, I'm friggin' done with this, man. I've talked to these people. They don't listen. Why does it have to get to this point? I don't know. But it does. And so I'll take extreme circumstances when it happens. But what led to that, right? Now, there's been multitudes of times that I probably should have fired them, but I just sideline my contractors. I don't fire them, I sideline them. I make them starve for a while. And so what I do to my subcontractors is I will literally make them starve, because if they're relying on you for work and you give them fair warning, right? I need this project done, right? You give them 2 weeks, 3 weeks notice. No show. I haven't given them money yet. I won't give them a deposit until they get started. And you all know these guys. And a lot of times they say, hey, I need material. And say, okay, cool. I'll meet you on the job site tomorrow with your crew. And when you're there with your crew, I'll get you a check. I'll meet you there at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, but I'm not going to give you a check till you show up with your crew because you're late. And I need you on that job site. And then they'll sometimes even tell you, like I had my concrete guy say, well, I'm not going to have him show up because I'm not going to buy material until you get me a check. And I'm like, and I'll tell him, look, you've been doing work for me for 10 years. You've got paid 100% of the time. You've never been late on payment. Now you're using this as a bullshit excuse because you're busy. So when you're not busy, call me. And if not, I'll just use another contractor. No problem. No problem. And that's what I always tell people, have 2 contractors for every trade, 2 of them. Because this way, if someone tries to leverage you like that, call their bluff. So I have one of our concrete guys, we do concrete, but I have one of my concrete guys that we sub it out to tell me, well, Jerome, I'm not going to show up until you get me a check. And I said, bro, I ain't giving you a fucking check till you show up with your guys because you're already late. And I've been communicating with you and you've never required a check out of me for all these years and you've been paid. There's not a reason why you need a check all of a sudden. So you're wearing me. Okay. So there's like uncommon practices that aren't normal to our relationship because of the way we've done business in the past. Now, all of a sudden, the terms change, but there's no reason for the terms to change. So now I'm worried, right? So I'm going, okay, either he's going through financial stuff, so he's going to take money from me, not finish the job, but he's not getting guys on the job. So it's real weird. And now he's acting like it's my fault that he's not showing up. So now I'm apprehensive, right? So now I'm like going, okay, what's the deal? Like, what's the real story? So now what I land up doing is I say, fuck that. I'm not going to use him. I'm going to call his bluff. And I'm going to say, look, if you're not there tomorrow, I'll get you a check tomorrow. Because fair is fair, right? Like if you show up with your men and your men are there, they're working, and I'll show up with my checkbook and I'll pay you. You need the money that bad? Get your guys on the fucking job site. Period. Now, how bad do you need the money? He didn't need the money bad enough to get his guys on the job site. So I showed up and I said, hey, bro, where the fuck are you? I'm here. We had an agreement. And he goes, well, you had an agreement. That wasn't my agreement. So I'm on another job. He said, okay. So I said, got it. That's all I told him. Got it. In my brain, middle finger, right? In my brain, middle finger. But on the phone, I'm like, got it. Hung up. Next phone call. Bro, I got a job for you. When can you start? Monday. It's like Wednesday. I'm like, okay, I really need to get it started this week, but under the circumstances, Monday's cool. So I give the other contractor the middle finger. I'll call his bluff. And then I go and I hire another contractor to lay that slab because my guys are busy too. And so we lay, and then the other contractor shows up, like just randomly shows up. It's like, hey, there's some other guys on the job site. I'm like, yeah, you didn't follow my terms. This is my job site. You want to call your terms? You go create your own fucking job site. But I told you what I was willing to do. And what you got to look at it as, and I used to tell my employees this with Subway. I tell my superintendents this. I tell my foremen this. I say, look, when you run a job, it's like a religion, okay? Like if you're Catholic, be Catholic. If you're Buddhist, be Buddhist. If you're Jewish, be Jewish. You don't go to like the Jewish synagogue and you go in there and say, hey, I'm a Christian. I'm going to convert all of you Jews to be Christians. And they're going to say, yes, master, I'm going to become a Christian today. That ain't the way that shit works. Like when you're religious, man, like I love all religions. I just want somebody to believe in a higher power. I don't care what that higher power is. All I know is I want to deal with good people, right? So if you have a higher power and you believe that you just need to be a good person, I like you. In fact, I love you. I don't care what that religion is, but don't come in and sell me your bullshit and I won't come in and sell you mine. Okay. So when you go in and you're running a job, don't come in and sell me your bullshit and I'm not going to come in and sell you mine. But I'm going to tell you that this is my job site. So if you're going to come to my house, you're going to sit at my table, you're going to eat under my set of rules. You're not going to come into my house and eat with your fucking hands. You're going to come in, you're going to eat with a fucking spoon and a fork, and you're going to eat my way because that's my job site. And you're going to eat the way I want you to eat at my house. Now, if I go to your house and you tell me you eat a different way, cool. Like I just went to Ramez's bachelor party, and they have this one dish that they eat. It's a Lebanese, it's a Palestinian dish that they eat, and they eat with their hands. And so guess what I did? I ate with my hands, and so that has to go with their stuff. I ate at their table. When you come to my job site, you're eating at my table. You're going to do it my way, or you're going to fucking take the highway, one or the other. And so the reason that I'm so adamant about the way I'm telling you guys this is because I don't act like that on the job site. I'm just adamant about telling you guys this so you guys can understand the intensity of what's going through my brain, okay? Like this is the way you guys have to run your business like this, okay? This all has to do with hiring and hiring and firing contractors. Because if you have a status quo and they know what that status quo is, they either have to live to it or they go take a hike. And then they go out and they do it their way. If they want to do it their way, great. Go do it your way. Okay? Like, so someone's not going to come in and tell me just because they have a religious belief and all of a sudden I'm going to believe their religious beliefs. No, if you're raised in a certain way, with all due respect, I respect that. And I'm not going to sell you on anything else. I just respect the fact of how you were raised, right? And I do business with everybody. Now, if you come to my table, you're going to do business my way. And my way is that you get your ass there, you get to work, and I will pay you. And I will pay you 100% of the time. But you're going to get there and you're going to get to work. Now, what ends up happening sometimes, these guys, is they go full circle. So now I got another guy that's working out really well. So now when the next house comes in, I'm going to call up my other concrete guy and say, hey, bro, I have a slab for you, but you need to be here on this and this day. If they give me any pushback, number two, strike two, I ain't using them for a while. Some of my tractor operators did this to me. They got real greedy, right? Like they weren't making money. 99% of their jobs were coming from me. There was circumstances where we would sit back and things weren't going the way the job was supposed to go. In lieu of 50% of what they were doing was bullshit. And it was costing me money. But instead of working with me and saying, hey, you know what? I take accountability for my side of it. I'm going to work with you on my hours. And so that way you're not getting bled on both ends over here. They would just invoice me and kept invoicing me. And I'd say, hey, man, like, bro, a lot of this is your fault, man. Like fix this shit. Like, I'm not paying for your problems. Like, I'm not going to pay you the contract amount. Then you make a mistake and I'm going to also pay you for your mistake as well. So you get paid to make mistakes and you have no repercussions. And so I told my tractor guys, fix your invoice. And he wouldn't fix it. He was just like, no, I was here and I get paid by the hour. Whether I make a fucking mistake or not, whether I do shit wrong and break your job, you still have to fucking pay me, even if it's my fault. So again, I say middle finger. I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. You know, I can't reason with you. I'm not going to fight with you. I don't have time to fight with you. So just fuck you. Go on to another job site. And then they come back full circle. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, you haven't called me. This guy was making $120,000 a year as an operator. Didn't even own his own equipment, running my equipment. Had 1099 been the year prior for $120,000. This is back in like 2010, guys, post-recession. And I sat back. I was like, fuck this guy. I'm going to go buy my own tractors, hire my own in-house operators. I'm not going to pay this guy by the hour anymore. I'm not going to rent equipment for him. I'm going to buy my own shit. This guy's fucking with me and it's pissing me off. And with the amount that I'm paying him, I can just buy my own shit, make a payment on a big ass loader and hire my own operator. And I can just give him the middle finger. And that's exactly what I did. And then all of a sudden he went from making $120,000 a year as a contract employee where I was paying for the equipment and all he had to do was show up and run a machine. That's it. He went from making 120 down to making $15,000 the next year from us. 15 grand. He took a $100,000 pay cut because of selfishness. Okay. So I did that to him for 2 years. And after 2 years, I started needing him a little more. I said, hey, when he came back, I said, hey, bro, you ready to come back and be reasonable? And he's like, yeah, we haven't given me work in a long time, and he's starving. And I was like, good, fucking starve, motherfucker. Next time, don't be selfish and greedy. And when you break shit, fix it and do it on your account. Don't do it on my expense. Do it on your account. Be a fucking man and man up when you break shit and do it right. And if you don't know how to be a fucking man and man up, fuck you. Go take a hike and starve for a couple years. And when you're ready and you're humble again, I'll fucking bring you back in. At least give you an opportunity. That with Joe, guess what? He's still running out tractors for me today. And every time Joe starts getting selfish again, I say, hey, remember that time that I made you starve for 2 years? Watch your steps, Joe. Watch your fucking steps. Because I will fucking, just as easy as I did back then, I'll just pull that shit from you again. Starve your contractors if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I'm doing the same shit with my concrete guys right now. I'll let those guys starve because now all of a sudden those guys in the wintertime when shit's slow, guess who lands up having work for them? I do. Now they call me in the winter. They're like, hey, I need work. Do you have any work? No, I don't have work for you. Why would I have work for you now when you couldn't do for me in the summer when you were busy and you were selling me on your bullshit? And so what I tell you guys is be careful how you guys do it. Use your work. Become so damn reliable on what you're giving to these guys You become so reliable in what you're giving to them that they need you more than you need them. Does that make sense? And if you have two contractors, just leverage the opportunity. And sometimes, guys, you may have paid them more than you should have. And you may have to take a sponge. And here's what's cool about building houses is that you're going to make $200,000 on a house, and you may land up losing $5,000 to a payment that you gave to them. People will get hung up on this $5,000, and I'll sit back and go, well, fuck, if that $5,000 means that much to you, that's going to be the last $5,000 that I ever pay you, then keep the $5,000. I just won't bring you back. But next time I bring you back, you're gonna owe me that $5,000 and then some. And so understand, ladies and gentlemen, that when you go back in, don't get so caught up on the $5,000. Like, well, I'm going to take them to court. Like, really? Like, what's your time worth? Like, and I would tell people this, like, okay, well, what's your time worth? You're going to go fight over $5,000? Like, shit, I got bigger fish to fry. Like, I got this house to build. This house is going to bring me in $250,000, $300,000. Like, all they're doing is burning their own bridge. I'm just not going to bring them back, right? Like, I'm just not going to bring them back anymore. So understand that leverage becomes so resilient in what you do that they need you more than you need them, that you can just pull it from them. And if they're going to fuck with you and you need to fire them, just get rid of them for a short time. They're going to come full circle, guys. All these contractors come full circle. Every single one of them, they go full circle. Sometimes, and then most of them just take care of you 90% of the time. And then all of a sudden life circumstance happens where all of a sudden it's your fault that their life circumstance happens, and they'll try to put it on you. That no one likes you, that you don't pay nobody, that you're always on their back and your schedule is always too tight and you never give them enough time. They'll give you all these bullshit excuses. Don't buy all that stuff, guys. Don't buy any of those excuses. Yeah, I'm on your back. I have timelines. I got my balls on the line. I have hundreds of thousands of dollars out on a home. I own it. I don't get paid until the house sells. And so, yeah, I have expectations. And my expectations, you're going to get your shit done because you want your check yesterday, but I don't get my check until tomorrow. My check doesn't come until that house gets sold, and your check doesn't either. And so, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand, like, yeah, they want to come in and sell you this bullshit about about how you're hard on them and you have schedules. Yes, I am. I'm hard. I'm going to hold to my schedule. You're going to hold to my schedule. And if you can't, then you can go pound sand. Okay. At least in the moment. But I'm not even going to fire her. I'm just going to say, yeah, no problem. You can't hold up to my expectations. No big deal. Where you feel that I'm unreasonable, where you feel that what I have for you is a hindrance, there's somebody else out there that feels that that's an opportunity. And I always tell people this: as soon as you feel like I'm unreasonable and you don't want to work for me no more, no problem. You just let me know, because there's somebody out there that wants the opportunity that you have. They would die for the opportunity that you have. And the biggest thing is, are you giving them enough to understand that what you're giving them is worthy of holding high expectations for? And if it is, then own it. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, whether a contractor gets fired or not is really up to them. It's not up to me. It's up to them. I just hold a set of standards and a status quo, and I live by that status quo. And I do it like a religious standpoint. If you're Jewish, damn it, own it. If you're Christian, damn it, own it. If you're Buddhist, own it. But whatever you are, own it, and you ride that to the finish line. And when you run your business that way, and when you have expectations, you fucking own those expectations. And when you own those expectations and you run to the finish line with those expectations, damn it, that is when you'll be successful at anything you fucking do, period. So understand that if you have high expectations for your contractors, own those high expectations and don't buy their bullshit. And if they want to insult you for your expectations, okay, like insult me for my expectations, but I ain't changing them for you, because that's what's made me successful. And if you just don't like them because you get butt hurt because my expectations are too much for you, then leave, because where you came from, there's somebody else out there that wants your opportunity. There's another roofer that wants to get on that roof, that wants to get paid, that wants to work consistently that I give them, because I know what I have to give. I have consistent work, consistent jobs for 3 decades. I know that I pay 100% of all my people, and there's been 0 people over the last 30 years that haven't got paid. And I know this. And so I know that all you have to do is show up when you tell me you're going to show up, get your shit done when you tell me it's going to get done. And if you can't and you have a problem, no problem if you communicate with me. But if you can't do those simple things, then you can go work somewhere else. But those are my expectations. And when you can't meet those expectations, I'm going to kindly fill your spot with somebody who can meet those expectations, that embraces it as an opportunity, and they love me for the opportunity to take advantage of making that money and having that job. And if you can't fulfill that, then that's the day that you get to choose that you get your walking papers. We all have choices, ladies and gentlemen. I give those choices to them. The choice is up to them whether they have more work for me or not. And if they go out, they have a choice. Like if they steal money from you, you paid them too much because they asked you for it and you kind of bid it and you were gullible on that one, and they took money from you. One time, they'll get you hook, line, and sinker. One time, you bid it one time. Now you're sitting back going, okay, I'll play stupid once. You take me for my $5,000, okay? Don't win the battle. Don't go out and win the battle but lose the war, guys. Okay, like meaning they might have taken $5,000 from you, and you're not going to get that $5,000 back. Go make your $200,000, $300,000 on your house, and then just never use them again until they come back and ante up and say, yeah, you know what, man, I jacked it up. You know, I should have done it. And say, cool, you owe me $5,000 now. Now get your ass to work. Come and do that $5,000. Once you do that $5,000 worth of work, I'll only pay you this much for the next job. And I've had contractors do it. And then I had these other guys I never see again. You know, well, why fight with them? You know, you're going to send them to small claims court? Go ahead. Go have fun. I don't have time for that bullshit. I got bigger fish to fry. I got to go out and I got to make some money. You know, it happens, guys. It happens. This is big boy play. You know, but if it means that much to you and you guys want to function on emotion, go out and function on emotion. Otherwise, go out and make some fucking money. You want to be right or you want to be rich? That's the question my mentor asked me. You want to be right or you want to be rich? I'd rather be wrong and rich than right and broke. You have to make a decision. Do you want to be right and broke, or do you want to let them be right? Let them whatever. I'm a bad guy. I only fucking give you work and I only pay you, for God's sakes, but I'm a bad person. Okay, you think I'm a bad person for giving you fucking work and paying you for 30 friggin' years? Okay, I'm a bad person. Go on. Bye. Bye. I'll let you be right. I'll go get rich. What's your time worth? Click and subscribe. Pound that thumbs up button. Give me some love. Comment down below. And I'll see you on the other side. Until next time, go out and compound your success.